Today's gospel is pretty straightforward. Jesus makes it clear that he is God and he makes the rules for the Sabbath. The Pharisees were using rituals and stuff that they had set up and made a lot of things forbidden on the Sabbath. And Jesus made it really clear that, it's got to be compassion and love that drive your decisions, not, some ritual that prevents you from using your compassion and love. I'd like to spend a couple of minutes looking at that first reading from St. Paul's letter to the Corinthians. Paul is all steamed up. He's like a fire-breathing dragon blasting both barrels at the leadership of the church in Corinth. And what's happened is Paul has taught the people in Corinth, and another great disciple, Apollos, who was a follower of John the Baptist, he taught them gospel, he taught them the truth, he even taught them about the end times. And the problem is that the leadership in Corinth started becoming prideful. They started embellishing and expanding on what the meaning of the end times were, when the world ends and Jesus comes a second time. And they were sort of basking in the glory of heaven. They figured they'd already made it. They were there and had done a great job, and full of pride. And Paul addresses them full of irony, sarcastically even. And he says, you guys are full, lots to eat. You're rich. You got everything you need. You're kings. You have everybody at your beck and call. You don't have to do anything. And he says, well, me, a lowly apostle, I'm a spectacle. I'm a fool for Christ. I'm weak and hungry. I'm thirsty, poorly clad, roughly treated. And he goes on and on. And Paul tried very hard, passionately, to imitate Christ. And he means just the opposite of what's being said here. He wants the leadership in Corinth to imitate him. The way he is giving up everything, the poverty that he's taken on, the giving up of everything that he has to spread the gospel. And he's trying to wake up the leadership in Corinth. I love the way he tells them this is how Christians are supposed to love. And he says, when ridiculed, we bless. When persecuted, we endure. When slandered, we respond. And so Paul's big message to them is when we're all puffed up with pride, thinking how great we are and all the wonderful accomplishments that we've done, that doesn't draw charity out of us. What draws charity out of us and love for others is when we're humble. When we realize that everything we have has been given to us. When we realize that all those gifts that we've been given, we're supposed to put those in the service of others. That brings us to humility, and that's where we're supposed to be. And so, if to take that, it's kind of a complicated reading because you don't expect that the irony and the sarcasm. But if you had to summarize it would be imitators of Christ, be imitators of St. Paul, and do the best you can to learn to love the same way that Jesus loved us.